Hello there, beautiful beings. Welcome back to the Starseed Network Podcast. My name is Saule Ilona Vaida, and I'm your host and personal spirit guide as we explore our spiritual human experience, our ascension process on Earth, and talk to incredible light beings, creators, practitioners all around the world. So welcome back to season 2 of this podcast. Oh my gosh, it's been a year, and I'm honestly so grateful and so just blessed and appreciative of this whole journey that this podcast has been. I'm so grateful to all the incredible souls that I've gotten to connect with, have conversations with, all of the people who have reached out and told me how much it impacted them, and all of you who have felt inspired to book sessions with me and work with me, who've resonated, who've shared these messages. I'm so honored and I'm so grateful, and let's get back into it. It's funny because I didn't put any time between the new seasons because I kind of just take a break whenever I feel like it. Like, I know sometimes the episodes can be a little bit sporadic, and this is what I'm definitely working on, incorporating more consistency and discipline into my life, especially with my content, and really just like simplifying things because I'm a manifesting generator. I love to be working on like 5 or 6 things at once, and yeah, sometimes it gets a little messy, not gonna lie. Plus also this just intense process of being a human on Earth and being on a spiritual journey as a human and being in humanity's ascension process. Like, oh my gosh, it's no joke. Diving back into season 2, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about this ascension process specifically talking about spiritual attacks, psychic attacks, spiritual warfare, and how to protect yourself, how to take care of yourself in these turbulent times. So most of this is just going to be channeled information that's coming through from source, from my guides, from, whatever beings of light wish to offer information and knowledge on this topic. So I really don't know where this is going to go, but yeah, here we go. I'm so excited to be back with you here. Today we're going to dive into a little collective energy update, and especially talking about this concept of spiritual warfare, spiritual attacks, the astral plane, how that kind of ties into all of that, and how we can practically protect ourselves and how we can be aware when we're being interfered with on some level. So I personally recently just went through an experience like this where something was attached to my energy field, or something was kind of, intertwined in a way. And it's very subtle sometimes. It's really almost hard to discern, because we feel this like difference. We feel this slight shift in our energy. And, even if you're already a very, high vibrational being, or you're very in tune with yourself and in tune with your process, and you start to notice like, oh, something's like a little bit off. Like, I don't know what this is. And a lot of times it comes through even as distorted reality and distorted messages, like getting these intrusive thoughts, getting these quote unquote downloads that were not necessarily loving or in alignment or actually coming from my guides. And we're going to talk also about this gatekeeper concept that I've mentioned in other episodes. But basically, what happens is like my gatekeeper feeds me a lot of information, and my gatekeeper can also sometimes be corrupted by these attacking entities or spirits. And this happens a lot. This is something that's really common, especially for people who have some sort of platform or are spiritual leaders or creators of some sort. They're especially being targeted right now. And especially if you're a light worker or a starseed, or someone who carries a big frequency, someone who carries, like a big player in all of this, essentially, someone who carries a big purpose, you are especially going to be targeted at times by spiritual attacks. And this applies to everyone, every single being on Earth, because I can guarantee at one time or another in your life, you've experienced a spiritual attack or an entity or an energy somehow attaching to your energy field and draining you, or it's inherited from your own lineage, your parents, your generational curses, hexes, vows, all these different things that affect us in our life. And until we consciously clear them, sometimes we don't even know what's affecting us. So sometimes it can feel like brutal depression or intrusive thoughts or manic episodes or psychosis or, nightmares, paranoia. There's so many different symptoms, and I'm still learning a lot about this topic. So I'm going to add more in as I learn and as I grow and expand. But all of this is mostly just channeled and mostly from my own experience as well. So with my own experience with different spiritual attacks, which I've had many, not going to lie, especially being public about my journey and being public about being of service and my intention to help and heal people, I experience a lot of backlash and attention from that in the 4D realm from these beings that are essentially working against the ascension process in this, whole illusion of light and dark and this whole illusion of, spiritual warfare, which isn't actually real because the light has already won. We're already coming home to the divine, but this whole drama needs to play out. So we're living it, we're moving through it, and let's just do our best to make this as pleasant of an experience as possible that we can on earth while we're moving through this. So it's just good to have this information. But I've experienced a lot of spiritual attacks in the form of things even like my TikTok account being blocked or reported for things that are really not going against any guidelines at all. And I just kept getting really confused and frustrated about why is my account being targeted like this? And in that instance, what I do now, I always speak out protection over my videos. I say, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, higher self, please protect all of my videos and my account from any negative energy. And please make sure that these videos reach every single person who can benefit from receiving them and resonate with them. So just speaking out that intention has made a huge difference as well. Also, listening to psychic attack frequencies, so quotable integrity frequencies, is one of my absolute favorite frequency channels on YouTube. They're so pure, such pure source energy, pure source love, uncorrupted energies it really feels. So I listen to their evil eye frequencies, I listen to their psychic attack protection frequencies, and it makes a huge difference because spiritual attacks, psychic attacks happen in so many different ways. Sometimes it is a straight up entity or some, energy that doesn't want to see you thriving. And so they also want to feed off of your light. When you're a light being, they want to feed off of that, and it's attractive to them. It's like moths to a flame. So they want to feel it, they want to claim it. So that's one way that they'll attack you, is they'll get into your auric layers and start feeding off of your energy. That's when you feel drained. It's when you feel exhausted and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Why am I feeling so tired? Why am I feeling so sick? Where is this coming from? Another way that this happens is, reptilian, Draco, AI matrix energies, because this is such a big topic. I can make a whole other episode just about this. But essentially, we are plugged into a matrix system on a 3D and 4D level. And I'm going to make a whole episode about reptilians because it's a whole other topic. But reptilian energy, Draco energy, these star beings, these powerful star being energies that are not necessarily human, they're more higher dimensional than us, but they're still kind of in this lower 4D realm. Their energy is harnessed and utilized and manipulated to keep fueling the fear-based program. So our fear is harnessed, our panic, our anxiety is harnessed and fed upon by these beings that are, working this whole matrix system. And essentially we keep fueling that every time that we fall into panic or paranoia or fear or separation or lack mindsets. So the more that we are just joyful and happy and awakened, they literally can't attach to us. They cannot attach to us when we're in a high vibration, when we're happy, when we're joyful. So let that, just remember that as well. Our joy, our love is sometimes the greatest weapon that we have in this whole spiritual warfare concept. So as well, these AI energies, this false Light energies as well is a huge thing. False light teachings, false light leaders, we can fall into these traps, and it's so deep. It goes really deep. Like it's really just like honestly physically ingrained into us. And there is a whole process that we go through of freeing ourselves from this matrix, removing these implants, removing these energetic ties and different things that keep us anchored here so that we can be liberated. And that also involves connecting with our own reptilian aspect, connecting to the part of us that is keeping us in a way in this matrix so we can free ourselves. But it's so important to understand as well that they are just as manipulated as we are by this whole system, and they are just as victim to it as we are. And just like, there's bad people and good people, there's good reptilians and bad reptilians, and like there's good aliens and bad aliens, and all of that duality is an illusion anyway, because we're all just source and we're all just love. But this is the little, fantasy world that we're living in, so let's just run with it, I guess. And this may be so out there for you guys, and that's okay. I'll definitely go into this more in depth, and I'm not saying you have to believe any of this, but if it resonates, take it if it resonates, and leave it if it doesn't, just like with everything. So there's a whole process to this, freeing yourself even from the physical and energetic ties that keep us anchored in and keep feeding off of our fear and our limiting beliefs and our separation. And we have the ability to remove these ties and these, whatever they may be. Other types of spiritual attacks can be, evil eye energies like jealousy, gossip, stuff like that, resentment directed towards people. And that is really felt. Like, I really just want to remind you, if you ever speak ill on someone or think ill on someone, they feel it and they receive that energy, and your own energy is being drained out of you and sent to them. And if they're someone who knows how to transmute and alchemize energy, they're literally going to take in that energy and use it to refuel themselves and use it for their manifestations, which is another thing that I'm going to get into when we talk about, how to protect yourself and how to keep yourself safe. So jealousy is a huge thing. It can be something as simple as someone, seeing you on the street and having a thought that is untoward or, twisted in some way or sexualized even. And you feel that energy. Like, I personally feel it a lot, especially being online and having, some sort of a platform. I feel it when people's energy is tugging on me, or people are jealous of me, or people are sending me their thoughts. And even if it's benevolent, even if it's like someone being like, oh my gosh, I'm so like obsessed with this person, I'm so into you, I feel that as well. So keep it clean, you guys. I know what you're doing. Anyway, that's totally off topic. But the thing is, like, we don't want to be victim to all of these energies being directed towards us all the time. And it can be really exhausting and really draining. Like, for example, last year when I was working in a bar and things were just going quite sour. Like, it started out really well, and then my soul was just breaking down with the pressure of working like 10, 12-hour days. It was not resonating anymore. I was burnt out. I was ready to move on. And one of the things that was most difficult for me was I'm not going to talk about anything or anyone in specific, but one of the challenges that I faced was energy being directed towards me from coworkers, from guests, from just people making judgments and assumptions in their own minds that, really has nothing to do with anyone. So it's all people's own projections being sent onto you sometimes as well. But I had this like really bad pain in my back, like really bad back pain that came out of nowhere. And I was like, what is this? And I, was even having like, this is personal, but I was having like a yeast infection. And I was like, what? This is so weird, like a UTI sort of situation. And then I started listening to this psychic attack frequency, like psychic attack protection frequency from Quotable Integrity, which I'm going to link below because it's important to have. And immediately, like literally immediately, that energy started to go away. Like I started to feel better, and I was like, what? Like it was like this heavy cloud was being lifted from my head, and I was like, okay, damn. Because I also have this really weird like psychic gift of I can hear when people are talking about me, which is like, I don't like having this. Like, this is not something that you want to have. It's not always great. So I would hear, my guides would like, I would hear a ringing in my ear. And for some reason, my clairaudience could pick up from like across the room if someone had mentioned me, especially in a way that was like negative, or I think it was also my guides telling me, like, be aware of, like, what this person is saying about you, because, like, they're two-faced as hell. And sometimes that's just how it is, and that's okay, and we give it all love, we give it all compassion to, whatever you feel may be attacking you, or whatever energies you may feel are attacking you. It's all held in so much love. We all have to give it compassion, and I understand that, like, people are going through stuff, and they don't understand their own thoughts. They don't understand the effect that their thoughts have, that their words have. But my guides and my clairaudience really just needed me to be aware of that. And it happens a lot. So like, it always happens, whether it's good or bad. Like, for some reason, I'm just very in tune to what people are saying about me. And I don't like that, not gonna lie. So that's why I protect myself. I protect my energy. I shield myself. I veil myself. And we're gonna talk about all these things when we get into how to protect yourself against these spiritual attacks. So some of the symptoms that, I've mentioned a little bit, some of the symptoms of feeling something in your auric body layers, or feeling energy directed towards you, or something siphoning off of you. And it's also really interesting. My friend who I've interviewed on here before a few times, she has a whole ebook with this process of releasing curses, vows, generational curses, entity attachments, all these different attachments. I'm going to link it below as well, because I think it's a great resource. Now I'm going to talk about as well how to protect yourself, how to shield yourself, because what's going on is really important to understand, especially for starseeds, especially light workers. We have a very important mission here right now, and a big part of that mission is raising the collective frequency just by being here, just through our being, just through our healing process, through our joy, through our love. We're raising this collective frequency so that we as a community, as a society, can move and ascend into 5D. So if you're an awakening or awakened being, you're especially going to be targeted, not going to lie, because when you become aware of the other realms become aware of you. And it's like the bigger that you become, sometimes the bigger the processes are, sometimes the bigger the challenges are, because that's naturally what happens as you level up. So it's really important to understand how to protect yourself from this energy, because it's so easy to be psychically attacked, and it can really drain you. Sometimes it can get really serious to the point of disease, or, different complications. It can affect your relationships. It can affect your life, and you need to know how to cleanse yourself. So first off, some common crystals that are great for psychic attack protection: black obsidian, shungite, tourmaline, labradorite, moonstone as well is a really good one. Also, like, some everyday practices that I really recommend doing just for spiritual hygiene is, cleansing your auric field with white light, especially, focusing on bringing that white light into all of your chakras, all of your energy centers, kind of swirling around, cleansing your physical body, cleansing your ascension chakras, the ones that are above your head, a foot and 2 feet above your head. We also have multiple auric and etheric body layers. So if you can visualize cleansing all of those layers as well, that is super helpful. I almost see it as like were these like little like teardrops and all these big expanding, it's like a Russian doll or something, like all of these layers around us. So our souls are so huge and so expansive. So we have so many layers where things can get attached or portals can be open. So if you can just really consciously go in and even say to yourself, like, say the command, like, I am cleansing, blessing, and protecting all layers of my physical and energetic body and energetic field. Also really setting the intention to close all portals, release all attachments, and to claim back your power and your energy from all time, space, dimensions, timelines, alternate realities, parts, and past lives, and all people and places and things as well, essentially. So calling back all of your power, calling back all of your energy, and calling on your guides who are here and available to help you heal. So sometimes, like, we absolutely can and absolutely should be asking our guides and our angels and ancestors to help us with our protection, because that's what they're here for. So you can also do specific, magic rituals, candle spells, sitting with, 5 candles around you, and kind of really, there's a specific, I don't know what the specific phrasing is. Honestly, with spells, I really recommend just ask yourself, ask your intuition, ask your spirit guides to channel through you what is most beneficial for you to do in this situation, and make up your own spells. I really, really support that concept, because you're going to know best what you need in this moment and how to use that. Another one that's great spiritual hygiene is shielding yourself. So essentially placing an invisibility cloak around your being, like in Harry Potter. Imagine placing this shield or this invisibility cloak over your whole being so that these entities or energies literally can't see you. They can't find you. They can't attach to you. Other things is learning about the Court of Atonement. So the Court of Atonement it's originally a concept by Amy Jo Ellis. Check out her work to learn more about it. I can't really explain it that well. All that I know is that it really works because you're essentially calling on the energies and the angels of Abraham, which is channeled by Abraham Hicks. And you're calling on these energies to hold a full court of atonement, and you get to say exactly what you want that command to be. So this can really be really helpful for any limiting beliefs, any relationship problems, everything that's coming up, all of karmic debts, karmic things, karmic ties, they get resolved in this court of atonement. So the other day when I was like very aware of something's attached to me, something's in my energetic field, and I did a full court of atonement to release it. So basically I asked my spirit guides and my higher self and angels to channel through the right court of atonement for me. But what the format that it usually follows is you say your full name, place myself, full name, into a full court of atonement with all of my divine guides, all of my spirit guides, all my angels, for the purpose of clearing, cleansing, and releasing any and all non-beneficial energies, entities, demonic energies, attachments, closing all portals, releasing all reptilian or Draco energies, removing all 3D and 4D matrix implants, and cleansing, encasing, and protecting all layers of my energetic and etheric body layers to protect me in the greatest and highest good possible. And so it is. That one I just made up on the spot. I don't know if it's correct. Like with spells, I think it's really good to just make up your own. So go and explore. There's a Facebook group online with a lot of information about this. Go and explore it, read the ebooks, and then once you figure out the format, make up your own spells, because you're going to know best what you need in this moment. So also, if you're looking for some support and guidance in your own process, in your own spiritual human journey, maybe you're feeling really interested about the things that I'm sharing and would like to learn more, or you feel this awakening within you and you want to discover what that is, or you feel drawn to me and would like to work with me or have space held, I offer spiritual guidance, quantum healing sessions of going deep into your process, into your soul, into really activating and familiarizing yourself with all aspects of you, connecting to your traumas, collapsing those timelines, and integrating to be able to allow in more light and embody your higher self even more on your path. I also offer channeled tarot readings where I connect to your soul, your higher self, your spirit guides, your ancestors to channel through all the information, all the clarity that you need to understand for your past, present, and future. Obviously, the future is very subjective. It's constantly changing. So mostly we focus on the present moment. We focus on how you get to be the creator of your desired reality, what needs to be healed, what needs to be felt, what lifestyle practices you can start to incorporate. Also, allowing in messages from any loved ones who have passed on, any other things that are needing to be communicated or expressed through connecting to your soul. This also includes a little aura reading. I also just get all these fun little information and downloads. It's really a deep experience and it's totally unique to each individual. So this is also a process where we get to hold deep space and resonance and love for everything that you're moving through and just place it into a greater context. I also offer Reiki healing sessions of in person and online. Currently, in person is available in Oaxaca, Mexico, if you happen to be here. But basically, this is a process where I connect to you through the astral plane and channel healing divine Reiki energy into your energetic layers and your physical body for deep cellular healing, awakening, regeneration, and activating your own self-healing process and essentially raising your vibration, removing all energy blocks, removing all parasitic energies, doing a psychic surgery to anything connected to your auric body layers, and essentially freeing you from all of these past situations, all these past blockages or things that are interfering with you living your best, brightest, most beautiful life. So if you're interested in any of these things, I really recommend checking it out through my website, www.sauleilonavaida.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram to find out more. So another interesting thing to understand is that when we're sleeping, when we're in the astral plane, we're working, we're doing spiritual work. We're sometimes even fighting in a spiritual war, or, we're doing different things. We're astral traveling in different ways. We're existing in other dimensions as we're sleeping, especially if you're someone who already does a lot of healing work. Like I've often had people come to me and tell me that they saw me in their dream, or I gave them a message, or I don't know. So I know that my soul will be out there. But it's really important to protect yourself in your sleep. So before you go to sleep, ask your angels to protect you in the astral realm. Cover your head, which is a really important one as well to understand. Even in, daily life, even in situations where you might feel vulnerable or exposed, cover your head, cover your crown, because this is where they can get attached. So if your head is covered, it's more difficult for them to attach to you and you're more protected. Also, using tea tree oil. I got this from another TikToker, the Self-Love Club, who told me about this, putting tea tree oil on your temples and your crown to help shield and protect. Also, the practice of Abhyanga, oil massage, which is an Ayurvedic practice of, covering your whole body with oil, massaging oil onto your whole body and then rinsing it off. This is a great protection as well that I'm realizing. I realized that this morning because this oil essentially, it blocks in a certain way of these energies being able to attach to you. So also things like, taking a hot shower and speaking the intention into the water to wash off and release all negative energies from your auric field, from your body, from all energetic layers of your etheric body, and really visualizing that water as white light just washing down you and just cleansing everything. So hot showers is really good for that. it's really sad as well, because like I've done readings for people who've had significant attachments on them, and it's like sometimes you're blocked. You can't even get to their true energy. It's like you're blocked, and there's something that is not really allowing you to access their soul and their true being. And it's really sad to see sometimes, because often it's people who, you know, are maybe in a situation that is really difficult for them, or, you know, going through something really tough, or don't have a home, or, you know, like misplaced in that moment, that really suffer from these things, and they really need this help. But the longer that something is attached to you, sometimes it's more of a tricky process, but also the process of really naming it, understanding what it is, and by naming it, you release it. So that's, you know, where the cord of atonement comes in. That's where this process of entity removal and energetic cutting comes in as well. Because once you name something and you identify something and you shed light upon it, it can't continue to deceive you or manipulate you. And also when you send it love. So even sending love to all of these things as you're removing them, intending for them to return to the portal of light, intending them to return to source and love, so that they can ascend, so that they can go and better themselves on their own journey and no longer have to be attacking and siphoning off other people's energy. So another things that are coming to me in protection. So like I said about the tea tree oil, you can also use rosemary or peppermint oil also to purify your crown chakra. Whenever I have headaches or anything attached there, peppermint oil is super soothing. Rosemary is just like really good for everything. It's kind of like a cure. It's like an all substitute for a lot of herbs. So as well, being in salt water, swimming in the sea, taking salt baths is really good for your whole ascension process, and especially submerging yourself in water, floating in water is super healing on so many levels. Also, another practice that I did last night is calling on Archangel Michael to help you remove and cut all cords and attachments from all layers of your energetic body, and like visualizing this Archangel Michael energy coming in and taking his sword and kind of just passing it over your fields and clearing and cutting away everything that's attached to it. Another one of traditional Mexican medicine that I learned about here is doing limpias and egg cleanses. Essentially, you know, this is really good for evil eye energy, or, you know, people sending you negative energy or things essentially trapped in your body. You know, taking an egg and intending to send all of the negative energy in your body. I always call on my ancestors with this process. You know, I say like, ancestors, spirit guides, angels, higher self, please help me channel all the negative energy in my body and my auric field into this egg to be released. You set the intention to send all the negative energy into the egg, and then you take the egg and essentially like rub it all over your body, especially where you feel any tension or any, you know, soreness or density, really just rubbing it over your whole body and holding it as well in the end, just like almost feeling or visualizing all the trapped negative energy just going into this egg in your hands. And then you can either just, you know, crack it into the toilet and then flush it without looking at it, or you can choose to read it and take a glass of water and crack it into the water, but make sure that you cover it with salt before you look at it, or the negative energy will be able to come back to you. So also, you can add pepper if you want it to be sent back, but I typically don't want it to be sent back. I just want it to be released. And then, you know, you let it sit for a little while, and then you can see some of the signs of like what has been coming off of your body, like what has been pulled out. And I've had situations where I've looked at it and been like, wow, oh my God, so much energy, so many eyes and things like that. But again, this is a traditional practice of Mexican medicine. I really recommend learning more about that and consulting with someone who is, you know, actually an expert in this, an actual curandera. I learned this from a curandera in Oaxaca, where I am. So This is just my secondhand account of that and my own experience with it. But yeah, by all means, like, do your own research. Also, it's really fun to kind of look at what maybe the energies are and do your own little egg reading. So if you feel drawn to that, do some more research on it as well. So I also mentioned earlier the psychic attack protection frequencies, the Court of Atonement statements. There's also, I'm sure there's so many other ways to protect against spiritual attacks. These are just a few that have been coming through for me that I've been working with and experiencing. So let me know how it goes. Let me know how you're feeling. I really recommend the Court of Atonement and the ebook most of all. So that link is going to be below. Check it out. It's free. And yeah, if you want to learn more about that, follow Abundance in Healing on TikTok, because that's like more her specialty and her realm. She's into all that stuff. So yeah, and I'm just speaking from like my own experience and yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for listening, you guys. I'm sending you all so much love in this ascension process, in this journey, in this spiritual warfare. Also want to mention, sometimes nightmares, lucid dream experiences can also be a sign that there's something on you. So just be aware of that and really protect yourself out here, because psychic attacks are only going to keep amping up, it feels like, the more that we go into this really high, beautiful timeline. This huge shift in energy that's been happening, especially since the Lion's Gate. More and more people are really getting into their power and really embodying their full being. And that's extremely threatening to, whatever powers that be that feed off of our fear. So it's very common that there would be some sort of retaliation through that. So don't trust your intrusive thoughts. Don't trust your paranoia. Don't trust your fear. Even if in the future we see tangible physical things manifesting that are designed to bring out fear in the general population, please remember it's all an illusion. It's all a tactic to pull us off our center and to undermine the goodness and the love and healing that we intrinsically are. And I'm also want to mention, like, even if you do feel like there's something on you, that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you damaged in any way. You're still able to live a good life, even if there are things maybe trapped in your energy layers that you're not aware of, or siphoning off of your energy in some way. So I just want to make that clear as well, that, don't ever feel bad about yourself or feel bad that something has happened, because, it's all a part of our process and it's all a part of our journey. And trust me, like, it happens to everyone. So just be aware in these next coming months, in this next coming time of Earth. Just have this information in your back pocket for when you need it, when you need to give it to someone else, because you never know. And yeah, it's getting real out here. Also, like, living a healthy and balanced lifestyle is going to be super helpful in preventing and treating any type of spiritual attacks. Having a regular meditation practice, having a strong connection with your guides, doing regular exercise, just move energy in your body, doing yoga, eating alkaline whole foods, avoiding things like alcohol, tobacco, smoking, because these things open you up to become vulnerable to these attacks. Like, spirits is literally called spirits because you become vulnerable, you become very open, and these things can really just come in. That's why, like, maybe you've seen someone get drunk and you're like, wow, who is this person? I don't know them. Also, psychedelic experiences can make you vulnerable to psychic attacks and spiritual attacks, not gonna lie. Like, I totally support plant medicine and exploration in that, but I've personally felt when I've been on a specific plant medicine or psychedelic that things get attached to me way easier, because our crown chakras are like so wide open. And it's really important to set up a conscious protection before you go into any of those ceremonial spaces, or even if you're doing it recreationally, like, speak protection into whatever you're consuming, whatever you're taking in, especially if it's going to put you in a state where you're not in control and you're not fully lucid. So just something to be aware of as well. But yeah, it's getting real out here, and there's no fear. It's all love. It's all love. It's all just a projection of love that projects duality, and that's the experience we're living right now. So that's okay, and we get to love that and appreciate it. And really enjoy our human experience here and live our beautiful lives, and just be aware of these things and know that knowledge is power and knowledge is protection as well. So stay aware, stay conscious, stay present. I also want to add, I recorded this episode a few weeks ago, and since then, I have quite a lot more information and have also learned the process of entity removal and release. So I am offering that along with Reiki healing sessions, kind of these processes of removing these entity attachments, any vows, generational curses, trapped emotions, soul fragments, and kind of freeing them and sending them back to the portal of light. And then also doing a healing Reiki treatment on top of that to help you restore and rebalance your energy. I also, on this next episode, I'm really going to go into also the false light matrix and kind of just like the illusion of the spiritual warfare as well, because it is true that, we are experiencing, especially if you're an awakening soul, you are a part of this movement and that poses a threat. But essentially, our souls are so much bigger and more powerful and brighter than any energy, any matrix construct, anything that could try to stop us, quote unquote. So no fear always, we're in our power, and the more that we can just have a steady protection practice, the less we have to worry about it and be affected by these energies, and we can continue to live our best lives. As always, thank you so much for listening. I'm sending you so much love, big hugs across all time and space. Remember how incredibly important you are, how incredibly valuable you are. And yeah, sending you so much love, wishing you a beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, noon, night, wherever you are in this crazy world, and take sweet, sweet care of yourselves. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share with anyone who can benefit from this information, and we'll talk soon.
Safe and truly deserving. Speak it into existence and release your resistance. Speak it into existence and release your resistance. Wake up, rise up. Wake up, rise up. Wake up, rise up. Wake up, rise up and greet the sun. I'm grateful for another one. Abundance gathers like fields of flowers, grown with my 2 hands and tears they showered. Meditate.